What is up, YouTube? It's Vince the Prince here, back again for another, fantasy football week 9. We have officially gone past more than half of the fantasy football season for the regular season, right? For majority of people, because sometimes, you go to week 14, you go to week 15 before you get into the playoffs. So still a lot of time to definitely make the playoffs, but still a pretty small amount of time to really climb the rankings if everybody else keeps winning too. So really right now is the time to lock in if you are still pushing through to make it into the playoffs, especially if you're down there in the rankings of, 7 to 8, 7 to 9, depending on the size of your league, whether it's a 10-man, 12-man, 14-man league. And depending if you have 6, spots that go into the playoffs, 4 spots that go into the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. So basically today will be, what do you need to do to make it into the playoffs? Who should you pick up at this point in time to get you some wins in these bye weeks that are coming up here in week 9 and week 10? So let's get right into it, boys and girls. If you have a comment, go ahead and leave a comment down and I will get to it as quickly as possible. We already got one from Alex Flores. It says, would you trade CMC and Benson for Jay Jettas and Jacobs? Probably not. Christian McCaffrey is the lifeline of that team. I just don't see myself giving up the number 3 overall player in fantasy at this point in time for Jay Jettas and obviously Jacobs. So Justin Jefferson, pretty good, but not amazing. He gets you like 10 to 15 points on a regular basis. His highs are 19 and 22. That's all the way back in week 4 and week 5. Obviously, we've seen the kind of quarterback situation there. I don't like it. I think J.J. McCarthy is a good quarterback, but he's not a great quarterback to elevate Justin Jefferson like we've seen in the past years when Sam Darnold was there. So I don't like Jefferson, in my opinion. Josh Jacobs can be good at times. I know this past week it wasn't the best of weeks for him, but he is very, very good, right? But he's no CMC. CMC's low was this past week at 9.8 points, but his average is 22 to close to like 28, right? That's his average with a high of 39 points. He has a really easy schedule coming up, and I would hold on to CMC. If you are looking for a wide receiver, I am going to go over some guys that probably are still in your waiver wires there, and I think, for sure, man, for sure. I think these wide receivers will do you better than trying to trade for Jay Jettas right now, who's averaging just about the same as what these other guys are averaging at this point in time. So let's go through the quarterbacks first. So stick around. I will get to the wide receivers pretty soon. But thank you for being here, Alex. Great to have you. So obviously, I've already talked about him, Sam Darnold. There's going to be a lot of bye weeks coming up this week in week 9, week 10, and week 12 especially. And I love the matchups here for Sam Darnold. I do think he will get somewhere around 16 to 20 points for the quarterback position in each of these games. He's got Washington, Arizona, which is a tougher defense, but last time he played up against them, 16 points. The Rams would be the first time we play the Rams, and then Tennessee in week 12. So 9, 10, and 12 are when you really need him. Week 11, you might have somebody already on your fantasy roster who's playing that week, and if you like them better while they play against the Rams, go for it. But I think Sam Darnold is a good guy to snatch. He is only rostered in 43% of leagues, which is pretty insane. But it is what it is. So Sam Darnold there is one of the guys that I'm talking about. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy is going to come back. He's preparing to start for Week 9. He is not the best quarterback in my opinion, but he does have that running threat, kind of like what we've seen from what's his name from the Giants. Cannot remember his name right now to save my life. But basically, Jackson Dart. He's the same as Jackson Dart. They do the same thing. They run the ball. They throw the ball fairly well, but they aren't elite just yet. So, in my opinion, J.J. McCarthy is not a bad guy to pick up, but don't expect amazing numbers. You're going to need a rushing touchdown from him for him to be fantasy relevant. But he should be out there. He's owned only in 22% of leagues. I would assume those are deep leagues like 12, 14-man leagues, or in dynasties like myself with the super flex. So those are probably the only leagues he's picked up in at this point in time. But those are the only guys that I see out there that are not rostered in an insane amount of teams right now. People could say Trevor Lawrence. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. He's pretty consistent in my opinion, but I just don't believe in that team all that well. You're either going to get as low as like single-digit points from him, or you could get up to 19 points on average with him. So it's kind of just a game-by-game basis. He is going against Las Vegas, so you could make a case for him, but not the next week against Houston. So let's move on to running backs here. This is probably one of the most sought-after positions at this point in time. And you would say, hey, Tyrone Tracy, Hunt, Bam Knight, or Zonovan Knight, Tyjae Spears. I would say yes to every single one of those except for Tyrone Tracy. One of my counterparts here, AJ, he disagrees with me. He thinks people should go after Tyrone Tracy from what I've seen in some comments in the Discord. I'm going to give you my reasoning why I don't think you should. I owned him from week 1 to week 5. Obviously, he was injured from week 4 and 5. I dropped him as soon as Cam Skadaboo was playing the way he was. But week 1, 2, and 3, he was just horrendous. I do believe that Singletary, who is going to be his backup / partner in the running back 1 and 2 room there, is going to take some snap share from him for sure. We saw Cam Skadaboo, who is an absolute dog. Devin Singletary is not far from actually being pretty good in fantasy. So last year he had a couple of good games. The year before that was when he was actually a stud. So he's been healthy all his career, basically. He's only 28 years old. Tyrone Tracy is 25. In my opinion, these guys are going to go more of like a 60-40, 50-50 split, because I do not think that Tyrone Tracy can actually do it on his own. One, for stamina reasons, obviously. You can't play every single down as a running back. You will get hurt pretty easily if you do that. But 2, when he was playing, his highest amount of touches that he's ever gotten was 15. 5 of those being targets in the passing game and 10 being in the rushing game. He has never had a game this season that's been higher than that. So his average is 9 to 10 touches running the ball, which is horrendous because his average is not very good. So basically, if you take away his 1 touchdown that he's gotten all year, his average per week playing healthy within these past 2 weeks and the first 3 weeks of the season, he averages about 5 points. I don't think that's worthy unless you are in a deep league. I don't think he's a guy that you really want. So I'm going to say go after guys who are going to actually play these next few weeks, like Kareem Hunt. We just saw that Pacheco is going to be out for maybe 1 to 2 weeks, maybe even 3, with a PCL injury, I believe it was. It was one of the ligaments in his knee. We saw it bend pretty bad. But with only about 30 to 40% of the snap share, this guy actually gets some really good points, and he actually has a really good average per run. He is not used very much in the passing game. That's where I think also Brashard Smith is somebody to pick up because he is used in the passing game. So I do believe that it won't be Kareem Hunt the full amount of time. So Brashard Smith will get more playing time as well. So those two, I do believe it is time to finally start to pick them up. I'm doing Kareem Hunt in a couple of leagues, as well as Bam Knight. We just saw them cut Michael Carter from the Arizona Cardinals. He's now on their practice squad. They signed him again after he went through waivers. But yeah, obviously Benson is still injured. For you, Alex, I know you have Benson probably on the IR still. But Zonovan Knight is doing pretty good with his touches. He gets even more touches with less snap share percentage than Tyron Tracy. He gets about 11 to 14 touches per game just running the ball. He is also used in the passing game. Obviously, he will be sharing here with Amari DiMercado. But he's never really done too much with his carries and passing catches. So I don't think Amari DiMercado is going to be a problem for Zonovan Knight. It's just going to be when Zonovan Knight needs a rest. But Bam Knight, he's the guy. He's the guy there until Benson is back. So I think just for a few more weeks coming into these next few stretches, especially this week against Dallas, he should be good. He might be a good pickup for you, especially if you have some guys that are on bye week this week and next week in week 10. But the real kicker, guys, the real kicker here for me is Tyjae Spears. I was telling a lot of people not to pick him up earlier. I was telling them wait until you see exactly how this team is going to use him. It seems like they are trying to push Pollard out. Pollard's contract is much bigger than Tyjae Spears. And obviously, Pollard is more of a risk with his age than Tyjae Spears. So this past game, we had 46% snap share for Tony Pollard and 52% snap share for Tyjae Spears. Tyjae Spears got 17.2 points with a touchdown on the ground, and Tony Pollard only got 6.3. So we're starting to see a switch here. And Tony Pollard isn't being used in the passing game as much anymore because now Tyjae Spears is there. Since the Titans are always in a win-now type of series every single game after the first and second quarter, Tyjae Spears is going to be getting a lot of looks, especially from Cam Ward, who just needs somebody for relief. So in my opinion, Tyjae Spears, although they don't stay on the field that long, he will be getting touches when he's on the field. And he will be on the field 50% of the time, and majority of the time when they are losing. So I like Tyjae Spears the most out of every single running back that I've talked about so far. Obviously, there's guys like Gainwell. We talked a little bit about Singletary, but nobody else is really of note for me. You could give a shout out to Ollie Gordon for doing pretty good this past week, but he's still only getting 30% snap share, and he is boasted by a touchdown. You take that touchdown away, he's back at his high of 7 points without a touchdown. So I don't like Ollie Gordon. I don't like really anybody else there. But those 4 running backs should be available for you, and those are guys that are going to continue to get work or get even more work. But I would stay clear of Tyron Tracy. That is just my opinion, but you definitely can buy into the hype if you feel like it. What's up, Frazil? How you doing, man? He says, yo, what up? Frazil also says, which 2 running backs do I start this week? Woody Marks, Tyjae Spears, Bam Knight, Bill, Kyle Monange, and Bashard Smith. In my opinion, with the matchups that we have this week, I am going to probably start Bam Knight just because he's going against the Cowboys. The Cowboys give up a lot of rushing yards. And I'm probably this is a risk here, but I would probably play Kareem Hunt. We saw what he did this past week against Washington's front, and he played really well. In my opinion, the 2 touchdowns are boasting him, obviously, but with more snap percentage, those numbers are only going to go up. So obviously he's averaging around 5 to 7 with 30% snap share. You give him 60% snap share, that moves up, and he has a lot more opportunities to get touchdowns. So now Pacheco's out of the races there. Obviously, Pacheco in the run game was getting majority of the touchdowns there. It wasn't much, but he was getting a lot of the carries. So I would probably say Kareem Hunt and Bam Knight, followed very, very closely, and I mean very, very closely, by Tyjae Spears. The only thing I have against Woody Mark is he's going against a tough defense this week in Denver. He did well against Seattle, but it was a late passing touchdown there that got him the extra 6 points. If not, we would have held him to 6 fantasy points. And San Francisco is depleted at this point in time. So that's my thing. Oh, you don't have Kareem Hunt. Oh, you have Brashard Smith. Okay, yeah, then I'll probably do Tajay. My bad. For some reason, I was talking about Kareem Hunt, and I thought I read him on there. But my ranking is going to be Bam Knight for sure at 1, Tajay at 2, probably Bill at 3, followed by Brashard Smith. Then I'm going to go with Woody and Kyle Monange. I think that's how they're going to finish in the rankings there for fantasy this week, just because of matchups as well as the snap percentage that they're getting. So Brandon Rogers official says, "What's good? What's up, Brandon? Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions about starting people, trades, picking up people off the waiver wire. Here to help, my guy." Yeah, sorry, forgot you don't have Kareem. But I was talking about Kareem, so that's why I was talking about him so highly. But yeah, so those are the running backs that I think you should go after, and they should be available for you. If not all 4 of them, at least 2 or 3. So you have guys to go after. One guy I really want to talk about in the wide receiver room here, Alex, if you're still here and you need wide receiver assistance, I would say Troy Franklin. I don't think it's going to be smart to play him this week against Houston's defense. They are tough, but it could be a good thing because he just has had an amazing 2 weeks. He has 3 touchdowns in the past 2 games, both against NFC West or NFC East teams. So take that with a grain of salt against the New York Giants and Dallas. But he's being used a lot in this offense, especially when he plays up against really bad matchups. So this one is more for week 10, but I would feel safe in starting him against a tough matchup in Houston because I do think he will get the ball and he's playing well. The other one is a guy that nobody has really been talking about at all, but he has been doing good the past 2 weeks, and his snap share percentage has gone up dramatically. He also returns kicks, so there's a possibility if he gets a touchdown, he will get you some more points. So that's also the benefit of Chimere Dike. For the Tennessee Titans, his name is spelled Dike, his last name. Look for him. He's been getting a lot of looks this past 4 weeks, and his snap share percentage has just been going up and up and up. And finally, this week, he's got about 89% snap share percentage there. 7 receptions on 8 targets, 93 yards, no touchdowns, but 16.4 fantasy points. That's without a touchdown. The week before, he had 16.9 with a touchdown, 70 yards receiving on 4 receptions. He's obviously being targeted a lot more by Cam Ward. So Cam Ward might have found his safety net in Tyjae Spears and Chimere Dike. So I think he is worth the stash. They go against the Chargers this week, but then he has a quick bye week on week 10. So this is a good time to kind of test him out. If you want to drop him after this week, drop him. It's week 10. He's on the bye. I don't think anybody would pick him up if he's, regressing in week 9. But I think he is worth these shots at this point in time. The only other guy that I really want to talk about, obviously, it's the Giants. I know we're kind of looking for somebody to take the reins there. But in my opinion, there's only one guy that I really want to talk about, and it's just to see if he is still available. It's going to be Wan'Dale. If you can find Wan'Dale, he's the only guy of note for me, especially going against the San Francisco defense that is pretty depleted. But everybody was talking about Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt. No. The only guy you can really trust is their tight end there, too. He had a bad game this week against Philly, but the whole team played bad. But he is more of the wide receiver 1 at this point in time, just because of Malik Neighbors being out. But if you can possibly find Wan'Dale, I do think going against San Francisco, he will have a really good game and has some really good matchups coming up soon against tougher teams where they will need him. But other than that, I mean, we're really kind of slim pickings in the wide receiver room if you want guys that are going to possibly get you double-digit points. Another guy that you could possibly look at is Xavier Leggett. We saw him have a good game 2 weeks ago, followed by a bad game. But if you look at his trends, he has a good game, then a bad game, good game, and then a bad game. So maybe against Green Bay this week, it could be a good game where he gets heavily targeted. But we shall see. Again, not too many guys out here, in my opinion, that you can go after that are on the waiver wire. But speaking of tight ends, obviously, we do have Juwan Johnson making a resurgence one more time, hopefully to finish out the season. He's going to go against the Rams, who are fairly good against tight ends, but then he's got Carolina after that. So for the next 2 weeks, I like his matchups. He's creeping into close to the top 10 there. He's number 11 tight end in the league at this point in time. So I still like him. Another guy, this might be, a little bit biased, but I still like AJ Barner. He's the number 18 tight end at this point in time, but he is a sleeper. He is just coming off a bye week, and before that, he was on a historical run. So week 4, 12.2 points. Week 5, 24.3 points with 2 touchdowns that game. Week 6, 10.10 points there, no touchdowns. Week 7 against Houston, he was bottled up. We were trying to run the ball quite frequently. 1.9 points. It's not what you want there, but going against Washington, we just saw what Washington gives up on the defensive side. AJ Barner, in my opinion, is a great guy to have, as he is being frequently targeted in the red zone. So he has the possibility of getting some touchdowns there. If you're looking for a tight end, I think he is one of them to go ahead and look after. The other guy is Chig Okonkwo. If you need a tight end just for 1 week here, he's going against the LA Chargers, who are also decent against tight ends. But Chig Okonkwo is usually averaging from about 7 points to 10 points. So if you just need, a 10-point guy here at the tight end position, I do believe that Chig Okonkwo is one of the guys you should go after. Other than that, there's really no other tight ends that I'm fully trusting in at this point in time. But there are some guys out there that can get you some points if you really need them. Another guy that nobody is really talking about anymore is Evan Ingram. I just really don't trust him in that offense. He's only getting about 40 to 50% of the snap share, which is not what you want. So I don't think he's the guy that I'm actively going to push y'all to go after. But if you really need somebody and Evan Ingram is there, he might be okay. But yeah, so again, Juwan Johnson, guys, AJ Barner, and Okonkwo are all guys that you can go after who are actually playing frequently pretty good. Last but not least, kicker. I know I have 2 kickers in my leagues that are on a bye week. So definitely if you can go after guys like Fairbairn, he is the number 7 overall kicker at this point in time, and he is available in a lot of leagues, only owned in 43%. Obviously, Jason Myers is owned in way less. He's the number 8 kicker for the Seattle Seahawks. He's only owned in 15% of the leagues. I am picking him up this week because he is usually hovering around somewhere like 8 to 13 points on average. So he's a great kicker to also get. Other than that, I would say somebody who's rising up in the ranks, who finally got back from injury, is Graham Gano, the kicker for the New York Giants. Especially with Cam Scatterbo going out, they don't have a guy to be a bruiser. I do think it's going to be tougher for them to move the ball, but they'll move it just enough to where they can get a 40, 50-yard field goal with Graham Gano, and I think he can get you some good points against his opponents in the next few weeks. Other than that, obviously, just make sure you look at the kickers that you're getting. There's a lot of kickers out there that are actually pretty dang good. So continue to use them as you can. Brandon McManus also was dropped in a lot of leagues, and he just came back for the Green Bay Packers. He averages around, 5 to 10 points easily. If you're just looking for somebody to definitely get you over the hump. But as we have been talking about mostly, defense can get you a lot of points in some leagues, just depending on how your points is categorized with sacks, interceptions, fumbles, fourth down stops, even if you do that, or just the amount of points that are being allowed. So obviously, we're going to talk about both LA teams. The Chargers are going to play the Tennessee Titans. We know everybody that plays the Tennessee Titans holds them to pretty low scoring games. The same thing with New Orleans. They were playing against the Rams. I think both of these LA teams are good starts at the defense there. They should get you at least double-digit points, holding these teams to low scores. And last but not least, we also have – I forgot who we had. Let me double-check in the Discord who I put on there. The Jaguars. Yeah. So the Jaguars just are about to come off bye. If you had anybody that dropped them in your league, go ahead and go after the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are a really good team as of, fantasy points for defenses. They're actually the number 13th ranked overall team. They had a really bad beat against Seattle and the Rams when they played them for obvious reasons. Really good NFC West teams. But they're going to play Las Vegas this week. They are a good team, in my opinion, to have, as they'll play Las Vegas, Houston, Chargers, Arizona, and they usually play pretty well, in my opinion, getting about close to double-digit points, if not like 8 or 9, in regular-based fantasy leagues. So go ahead and go after those defenses. They should help you out fairly well. But again, guys, if you have any questions, put them down below. Let me go ahead and check the Discord, make sure nobody has put anything about some trades or who to pick up. I have Frazil over here saying Drake May, the bye week coming up. Which QB do I pick up to stash? So I see Sam Darnold there. I see JJ McCarthy, and I see, CJ Stroud. Obviously, don't go after Kyler Murray. There is a chance that he does not play, but if he does, he is a fair option in fantasy. He has the running ability that really helps him, but he's only averaging about 15 to 18 points, so not the best guy you can get there for Zoe. But yeah, I think that I would go after Sam Darnold or maybe even J.J. McCarthy there, take the chance. So that's just what I would do. But other than that, guys, don't have really many comments coming in through here right now at this point in time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop the Discord link down below. Let me go ahead and get that for us. And if you have any questions whatsoever, go ahead and join the Discord. Ask us there in the Discord, and we will get to you as soon as possible. We are a small channel trying to go and grow here. So go ahead and leave down some comments in our Discord. Let me see where I can find it at. Let's see. Sorry, ladies and gents, just looking for this code here, as I cannot find it, and YouTube is giving us some trouble. But yeah, guys, we go live every Monday for the Monday Night Football game. We go live for fantasy, obviously, here, and we always put out videos and stuff like that. I do NSP power rankings, everything like that. So make sure that you are keeping up with all of our content, everything like that, and making sure that you give us a like, tell your friends to subscribe, and if you're enjoying our content, let us know. Yeah, cannot find this Discord link as right now something is just messing up for us on YouTube. Here we are. Now I can try to look at it. Exit that out. Discord link. Where are you? I thought we had our Discord link. I guess we don't have it right here. So I will find that, put it there for you guys in our bio down here. So for now, again, guys, thank you so much. We will be on again next week, and I will be releasing a video on Thursday for the power rankings. See if your team made the top 10. If not, they should be in there. I'll talk about them briefly, most likely. see where they stand and see if they're rising and falling. But other than that, guys, thank you so much. Leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and as we always say, keep on grinding.